Hey everyone, today we're going to learn how to make a granny square with multicolor quadrants. We're going to start off with a magic circle like we do with most granny square patterns. If you need help learning how to do the magic circle, please check out my other video on how to do that. Once we have our magic circle, we are going to chain 3. This is going to count as a double crochet in the pattern. And now we're going to work 2 double crochets into the middle of our magic circle. I'm going to call this color A, the white one. And once we have this first cluster made, we're going to lay our next color, or color B, over the end of our hook and pull it through the last loop of color A. This is how we're changing colors. Then we're going to chain 1 and double crochet another cluster of 3. So double crochet 3 times. That's 2. And here's 3. Now we're going to continue to change colors. So just like we did with color B, we're going to lay color C over the end of our hook. And we're going to pull that through the last loop of color B to change to color C. And now we're going to chain 1. Then you're going to work another cluster of 3 double crochets. And here's 2 double crochets and 3 double crochets. And now same thing, we're going to change from color C to color D. We're going to lay color D over the end of our hook, pull it through the last loop of color C and chain 1. Perfect. And now one more time, we're going to make a cluster of 3 double crochets. 2 and 3. Now from here, I'm going to pull on the end that is sticking out from my magic circle in color A. And I'm going to pull on that to cinch the middle of my granny square close. It's going to tighten everything up. Now I'm going to go back to my working yarn and I'm going to chain 2. Chain 1, chain 2. Now from here, I'm going to join the end to the beginning with a slip stitch. So this is going to be worked into that chain 3 from the very beginning. And now we have completed round 1. Now we're going to turn our work to start round 2. To start round 2, we're going to slip stitch around that last chain 2 that we made. And from here, we're going to chain 3. 2 and 3. Now we're going to work 2 more double crochets into the chain 2 space from round 1. And 3 double crochets. And it's going to look something like that. Now we're going to chain 1. That's going to help us jump over to the next chain 2 space. And we're going to work another cluster of 3 double crochets. And 3. Now we're going to change to color C by grabbing the working yarn from round 1 and pulling that through color D. Now we're going to chain 1. And we've officially changed to color C. Now you'll see we have this piece of working yarn that carries up from the round below. I like to hide that by inserting my hook under it. And now I'm going to yarn over. And now I'm going to continue to make a double crochet into that chain 2 space below, just like normal. I'm hiding that working yarn that's carried up in the middle of my double crochet. You see, you can't even see it. Perfectly hidden. And now I'm going to make 2 more double crochets into the chain 2 space from below. And 3. And just like with the previous color, I'm going to chain 1. There we go, chain 1. And work another cluster of 3 double crochets into the next chain 2 space. 2, and 3. There we go. And this is what it looks like so far. You can see with each round, we're adding another cluster, and that's starting to give us the diagonal. Now I'm going to change from color C to color B, just like we did previously. I'm going to pick up color B and pull that through the last loop of color C. And I'm going to chain 1. And now if it's a little hard for you to wrangle hiding that working yarn carried up from the round below, that's okay. Just make a double crochet and leave it be. But otherwise, practice looping it around your hook before making your double crochet. I think it really helps to hide it. So there we go. That's 1 double crochet. And now we're going to work 2 more double crochets in color B. There we go, and 3. And now we're going to chain 1 and work 3 more double crochets into the next chain 2 space. This can be a lot to have so many active yarns, but I promise it's really not that bad. All right, and 3. Now you're going to change from color B to color A, just like we have been doing. There we go, cluster 3, chain 1. And now we're going to make our last cluster of 3 in the beginning space where we started this round. Going to double crochet 1 and then 2 and 3. You're already going to have a cluster of 3 in color D in this space, so you're just finishing it off. So you have 2 clusters in this space. There we go. All of our clusters are made. And now we're just going to chain 2. There we go. And we're going to join the end to the beginning by inserting our hook through the top of our chain 3 from the beginning of the round and connecting colors D and A with a slip stitch. To start round 3, you're going to turn your work and we're going to be working in color A. So we're going to do that slip stitch around the chain 2 space from below and then chain 3, work 2 more double crochets into that chain 2 space from below from round 2. And now you see we have an extra space. So we're going to just chain 1, and now we're going to work a double crochet cluster into that extra space. So that's 1, 2, and 3. With every round, you're going to have an additional space that you're just going to work another double crochet cluster into. And after every cluster, you'll chain 1, and now we're going to work a double crochet cluster into the corner space from round 2. There we go, that's double crochet 3. And now we're going to change from color A to color B. And you're going to continue with the pattern as we've been doing it. So every time you work a double crochet cluster, you're going to chain 1 after it. And every corner is going to have a double crochet cluster, change to the next color, and then work another double crochet cluster with that chain 2 in between. And you can continue to make your granny square as large as you want to. I'm going to stop with 3 rounds, but you can do this until it's as big as a blanket. So this is color D that I'm finishing the square in, and I'm finishing by chaining 2 and joining the end to the beginning with a slip stitch. All right, and now I'm going to cut all of the ends. Only downside of doing a multicolor quadrant granny square is there are a lot more ends to weave in, but you know what, that's okay. The effect is worth it. Look how beautiful this is. I hope you enjoy making these granny squares.